Hello, welcome to Lawrence County History Corner. My name is Lori, and today we're talking a little bit about Ironton's wild past. And this actually starts with an article that appeared in the Ironton Tribune on the 29th of July, 1921, and it starts off with a huge banner across the newspaper stating, "Mayor denies he pointed gun at Paul Thursday night." And it goes on to say, Paul declares the mayor held gun demanding that he cease attack. Mayor Collette makes full denial and says he was doing a patrol duty made necessary by the lightness nights, and Paul says mayor demanded his halt attacks. This happened on a Thursday evening in July, actually the end of July in 1921. And there had been a lot of controversy and bitterness between H.E.M. Paul, the editor of the morning paper, and Thomas L. Collette, mayor of the city of Ironton. The mayor apparently halted Paul near 5th and Park Avenue, and according to Paul's story, pointed a gun at him, demanding that he cease attacking the mayor through the columns of the morning newspaper. The affair occurred almost directly in front of S.W. Wilson's home. Paul says the mayor started toward him holding a revolver in his hand and demanding that he wait a minute until the chief executive told him something. The editor then said that he walked toward Collette while the mayor demanded that he keep a distance. Paul then demanded to know why he walked the streets threatening people, and the mayor replied he had the right to carry a gun. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? According to Paul, the mayor walked behind a bakery wagon which was parked near the scene and repeated the warning, I don't want to see anything more," meaning that he didn't care about the attack to the public prints anymore. The mayor was seen later and gave his own version. According to the mayor, last evening around 6 o'clock, he was on his front porch reading. After looking through the papers a while, he started down the street and went down Park Avenue steps, turned to the right, and went toward the corner of 5th Street. Intending to go down that street, and at the corner he looked up 5th and noticed Harry Paul coming down 5th below Captain Johnson's house. Paul was an editor of the local newspaper, and the mayor walked across the street to speak to him. Just before he got across the street, a delivery wagon stopped in the front of the mayor, and the driver said, "Mayor, I want to ask you about a permit." And I said, "Wait a minute, I want to speak to Mr. Paul." I walked to the curb just as Mr. Paul came the opposite way, and according to the mayor, he just wanted to speak to him, and he replied, "All right." And when Paul turned to face him, he was white as a sheet. That is a direct quote. The mayor goes on to complain about how the newspaper had been treating him horribly, that he had been nagging him, and he wanted it to stop. Understandably, no politician wants bad press, although sometimes they say bad press is better than no press. According to the mayor, that's all he said. He said, "Please stop printing," and he walked away. Well, that's not what Paul says. In fact, they even asked the driver of the delivery wagon, did he see a gun? According to sources, the mayor claimed he had the authority to make arrests. because the city lights were off. I'm not sure why that made a difference, but that's what he was claimed. And he secured a gun in the evenings after 8:30, perhaps to make it safer for him to walk. But two sides to each story. The police were really scared at the time that the lights being out would cause criminals and less desirable members of society to come out and commit crimes or do damages. And it was, of course, natural that they would need to be armed during this work. And apparently the mayor felt like he was either asked or felt like he was being asked to do so. They had only, they had too few policemen to actually cover the sections that they needed. And the mayor was just helping the local police. The mayor said he did not mention any gun, and he did admit, though, he did have a gun in his hand as he was walking along during the night, but he did not brandish it towards the newspaper editor. Something I thought was quite interesting, a quote at the end of the article from the Ironton Tribune. It said, "No one would expect the editor of the paper referred to tell the truth about this event," and he did not. So obviously there was a lot of hostility between the mayor and the local newspaper editor. It did not stop there. Things began to get a little bit worse, and I will tell you more about that later on.